I bet I'm gonna make a bunch of theater people very uncomfortable very quickly. You ready? Macbeth. Good luck. Why would that make some people uncomfortable? Let's talk about theater superstitions, shall we? Sometimes artists can be a superstitious bunch, and there is a long-standing history of the reasons that we have the superstitions that we do. I'm going to preface this by saying I am not a superstitious person. I don't necessarily believe or buy into all of these, but I thought I would share them and talk about why they're interesting for us performers. So let's get the big one out of the way first. Why you should never say Macbeth in a theater if you don't want the other theater people to be very angry with you, because they will. Folks take this one very, very seriously. To utter the Scottish play in a theater is to tempt the fates. But why? There's a couple different beliefs around this. So some people believe that Shakespeare used real incantations in the witches' lines and dialogue at the top of the play, and that a coven of witches did not like this and cursed the play itself. And then from there, it just spirals. In the original production of Macbeth, the man playing Lady Macbeth died. There have been multiple incidents with people getting hurt, people getting stabbed, someone was killed on a stage of Macbeth, and the rational-minded might say, well, it's a super highly produced piece of theater, so of course there's a likelihood of getting hurt when you do Macbeth because it's one of the shows that's done over and over and over. Is it? And I'm not one to buy into superstition, but I have been in a lot of shows. A lot of shows. I do a ton of community theater. I have directed many shows. I was a witch in a production of Macbeth. And we were doing this run at Halloween, I'm gonna say like 10, 11 years ago. And it is the only show I've ever been a part of that had the fire alarm go off mid-show. So mid-show, fire alarm goes off in the building, fire curtain comes down on the stage, whole cast evacuates out into the parking lot in the middle of winter. I was in a corset and a skirt. It was a good time. We watched all the audience on the other side of the parking lot, and we all just stood and froze until we were allowed back in the building for this false alarm. So, that's my Macbeth story. Take it or leave it. Is it a cursed play? I don't know. Should you utter it in the theater? Only if you have a death wish or don't want your fellow castmates to like you, because folks take this one very seriously. So let's talk about haunted theaters. There are many, many, many theaters that have personas of ghosts within them. At least that is what they share and record with folks. So many Broadway theaters have this history, and they have specific folk that are haunting them. You can go search that up if you're interested in the ghosts of Broadway. But I'm talking specifically about a superstition called the ghost light. It has a supernatural and a practical effect. For those of you who don't know, a ghost light is a singular light left burning in the theater. It is often used to ward off the spirits of the theater, to keep them appeased, and to ensure that they do not cause a ruckus within the production that is currently happening. So, ghost light left on the stage to appease the spirits in the space. Also, ghost light left on the stage because backstage the set and props and stuff are all in the way, and to walk through that space in pitch black is a dangerous thing to do, so ghost light equals a light left on and is easier to navigate the space until the working lights can get put on. So superstition number 2, the ghost light must ward off spirits in the space. It is considered bad luck to whistle backstage. But why is that? Where has that one ever come from? A lot of times, stage crews were also ship crews. They would come off their ships and get work as crews in the theater. And when they were doing the rigging, they would signal each other with whistles. So they would whistle to let people know when sets needed to fly in or out, or so have you. So it was bad luck for an actor to whistle backstage because it could be mistaken for a stage cue and a set piece could fly in and hurt somebody or injure somebody, and it was considered obviously bad for that to happen. So actors should not be whistling backstage, and this tradition has kind of held over now that we've got, they turned it to cueing lights and now we have intercoms. But the whistling backstage superstition still holds true. Now, what about flowers? We all know that it is nice to bring a performer flowers when they finish a performance. It is a commonplace ritual in the theater community, also in the dance world. There is a superstition amongst performers and dancers that some have and some don't. So what I don't want you to do is read into this and be like, oh, I gave so-and-so flowers and it must have set them off and I gave them bad luck and blah, 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 blah. But the superstition is that you shouldn't give a performer flowers before their performance. They should only be given after their performance, because to give them before the performance is giving accolades of a good job, a job well done, which could then tempt fate and set them up for a poor performance or for things to go wrong in their performance because they've already been given their congratulations, if that makes sense. So again, not a lot of performers nowadays abide by this, so don't be worried if you took your niece flowers before her first dance recital. It's not something that's going to bother a lot of folks. But there are some that stand by the superstition of flowers given before a show evokes bad luck because it is accolades for a job well done when the job has not yet been started. So there you go. There's also a slightly macabre story about giving a director flowers on closing night. Casts used to get flowers off of a grave and give it to the director on the closing of the show to symbolize the death of the show. So, there's your fun and lively story for the day. Death flowers. And lastly, but definitely not least, the concept of good luck, and why we don't say it in the theater or dance worlds. You may have seen my previous terminology videos on things like break a leg or merde and why we use those terms, but why don't we say good luck? It's very possible that this comes from the old superstition to wish someone something meant the opposite would happen. So wishing an actor good luck would mean that they would have bad luck. And this is something that a lot of actors have glommed onto. We don't use that terminology. When actors are saying good luck to each other, we use break a leg. Again, go check out those videos if you want to know what that means. But we don't use the terminology good luck. And so if you wish a performer good luck before a show, it could be implying that you are wishing them bad luck because the likelihood of the opposite that could happen. Again, not every performer buys into these superstitions, but these exist quite heavily in the performing arts world, and I'm just sharing with you because I think they're very interesting. Do you believe in any of these superstitions? Are there some theater superstitions that I haven't covered that you believe in? I would love to hear in the comments below. If you're interested in more acting, history, theater tips, musical theater choreography, I would love to have you as part of my community. Please click like and subscribe, and I will see you next week for more theater goodness. Bye.